Back at you again with another one. This time we'll be looking at another Europa League preview game where we'll be taking on Molde away from home. So it's been fairly comfortable in terms of our Europa League campaign. We've played 3 games, won all 3 games. Yes, we perhaps at times made it a bit tough and difficult when it's a bit unnecessary for us. You would hope and think a team like Arsenal should easily go in and get the maximum points from this group here. So I expect nothing less than another convincing victory. So without wasting any more time, let me just get straight into our group and our opponents. So as you can sort of see there from the table, we are sat comfortably in first with 9 points. Molde sat second there in the group with 6 points. I think if we win this game, we'll all but certain have pretty much qualified for this group. And then it will just be the case of seeing who finishes top and trying to avoid those bigger teams that will fall down from the Champions League into the knockout stages within this competition here. So in terms of the lineup I'm going to go with, or let me just present you what I reckon Mikel Arteta will sort of select for tomorrow's game. So I reckon in goal, he will have Bernd Leno. I just don't feel as if he trusts Ronaldson yet. I reckon once we have mathematically qualified and maybe perhaps secured the top position within our group, he might then risk it a bit and play the likes of Ronaldson or maybe even Matt Macy. So, but for the time being, I reckon he'll go with Leno just to make sure we get the 3 points and we're through. I reckon he'll go with Maitland-Niles as our right back, and that's only because he's not really fancying Hector Bellerin. I'm sorry, he's not really fancying Maitland-Niles in Premier League and fancies Hector Bellerin there. Just still until today, he just questions why on earth did we not get the 25 million for him from Wolves if we were just going to consider him as a bit part player. 25 million for a bit part player, absolute still. But yeah, let's continue on. Mustafi, yep, the guy we are trying to get him to sign a new contract for whatever reason. Yeah, it's shambles. We're offering Mustafi a contract, but he's doing a smart thing. Rejected it. He knows he can go to any club and get a decent signing on fee and pretty much make the same wages he's making here at Arsenal. But until that's done, I reckon he'll still feature in Mikel Arteta's plan, and especially in sort of cup competitions where we need to maximise the resources we have within our squad. So I can see Mustafi featuring alongside David Luiz. I think the reason why he didn't play is because, and first and foremost, congratulations, David Luiz. Heard him and the missus have bought a new child, a new Gooner that is. So all the best for him and the family. But I can see him coming back if things are okay. If he's sort of had his paternity and the club's okay with him coming back, I can see him featuring in. If not, then I'll see Rob Holding featuring Mustafi there at centre-back. In terms of left-back, we'll see Sead Kolasinac there. Likewise with Mustafi, he's not got much time left. I'm not sure what the plan is. Perhaps the club will look to see if they could get some money for him in January. I can't see any club being foolish enough to do that. Why would you pay for Kolasinac when you know a few months down the line he's going to be free and he's not really worth paying the money to take the pun? He's really not. So I can't see him going anywhere, and he looks like he's going to feature for Mikel Arteta's plan for the remainder of the season. I reckon in terms of the midfield area, I reckon he'll go with Granit Xhaka as a base and Danny Ceballos in there, as well as Joe Willock. Yes, Joe Willock didn't take his opportunity over the weekend against Leeds United, but I feel as if we shouldn't just stop playing him because of one game. He's still, I'm not his biggest fan, and I've said it a few times, but he's still young. You really don't want to dampen his confidence yet. Let him play. Maybe perhaps he might redeem himself. This game here might be perfect for him to show that hunger, desire, and to make up for the mistakes he did. He actually made on the weekend. And speaking about mistakes, that leads us very nicely to Nicolas Pepe. Some of you might be thinking, why would Arteta select him? I think as a manager, this is the best thing you need to do. A guy that was low on confidence for far too long, and he had a silly moment where he headbutted Alioski over the weekend. He can't get any worse. Now, for me, this can go either two-way. Pepe can use that to fuel him and become a better player and finally show us why we paid that £72 million for him. Or it could go down the other way where he just feels, you know what, I'm done. Mentally, I'm switched off. And we're just going to see a very unproductive Pepe whose mind frame's not really here at the club. So you can either go two-way, and I really hope it's the former. Up front, I reckon Mikel Arteta will go with his favourite pet here, Eddie Nketiah. We all know how much he loves Eddie. Let's not discuss too much on that. So I reckon Eddie will play there, and Reiss Nelson. Reiss Nelson shows great excellence on the ball, running at players, but the guy just can't cross. He has no end product. And for me, that's something he really needs to feature in this game. And I think for himself, it was stupid of him not to go out on loan this season. I thought that would have done all the wonders for him. He should have taken an opportunity to go to Crystal Palace, developed his game, and we would have seen a better Reiss Nelson maybe sort of next season. And he could have competed with our wingers. But instead, he chose the easy option, comfortable option to stay at Arsenal, where you've got a manager here who's very timid and doesn't really fully entrust the youth. You knew you were limited to game times, and now you perhaps dampened your progress. That shows to me what I need to know about Reiss Nelson and his mindset. But then again, he's young. He's probably not being advised correctly. But that's what his agent should be saying. His agent should be saying, Reiss, let's look at loan opportunities. Let's go somewhere else, become a main star player there, and come back and prove to Arsenal the developed player you've become. But that's the squad I reckon Mikel Arteta will go for. And in terms of the squad I'm going to go for, I've gone for the same formation, 4-3-3. He's went with it against Leeds United. I really hope, because of the outcome from that game, he's not stubborn and reverts back to the 5, because I think that's a decent foundation to start from and build upon that. So in terms of the lineup, I'm going for Alex Runnison as our goalkeeper, and got Bellerin as a right back. Yeah, I know, I put Bellerin as a right back only because Wolves are very good on the counter, and I would rather see Ainsley play there on the weekend, and therefore I would rather Ainsley rested, or maybe even start Bellerin, bring on Ainsley later on towards the game, the last half an hour, get him a bit some match fitness ahead of the Wolves game. But I'll go with Hector Bellerin for this game. I'll go with Mustafi for the same reason I mentioned Arteta would. I'll go with Holding only because I think he's too much of a liability. I don't really like the partnership he has with Gabriel. Yes, David Luiz is very calamitous at times. He makes a lot of mistakes, but he's not so bad alongside Gabriel. And I'd rather see David Luiz partner Gabriel at the weekend. So therefore, I'm placing Holding for the game against Molde. Kolasinac, same reason as I mentioned for Arteta on the left-hand side. I've gone for more of a younger midfield. I've gone with Xhaka because I don't want to see him play for us in the Premier League. I've never thought he was good enough. He's far too slow, and he just looks so much better in European games because the Premier League, there's that high press. It's very fast as well, and it just at times he looks out of place. Whereas in these games, he looks a bit better. And for me, this is why we should maybe reserve Xhaka for the Europa League games and have your Partey's and El Nene as a deep lying midfielder for the league. I've got Willock and Smith Rowe. So good news, Smith Rowe did fly out with a team to Norway, so he needs to play. He just hasn't really featured. Yes, it's not really entirely on Mikel Arteta. He was plagued with injuries earlier in the season, but he's come back slowly. He scored the 1-0 goal for the under 23s against Everton. So I'm hoping to see the best of Emil Smith Rowe. Up front, I've gone for Pepe. Same reason. I think he needs to come in, smash it out. And I think if Mikel Arteta is a decent manager, that's what you would do. You don't want to, the player you've had that's low on confidence has been very poor. So best thing you could do with all the criticism around him, this game here, just throw him in and let him just silence those critics. I've gone for Nelson on the other side, and that's just because I think we need to rest Saka, and that was quite evident against the game in Leeds, where it looks like he sustained some sort of muscle injury. I've gone for the young man up front, Balogun. I don't want to see Eddie Nketiah on a bench. I'd rather see the young Scandinavian striker Muller we have. I think Muller could bring something, and I've just seen enough of Eddie. He's not for me. I've also heard the likes of Miguel Aziz, Ben Cottrell have flew out with the squad. So I would like to see some of these young players. Definitely, we need to see Ben Cottrell. I think he's ready now for the first team. All this talk about Mesut Ozil, I think our fan base don't watch too much of our youth games because we've got some talented midfielders there. Yes, they're not ready yet, but if we slowly integrate them into the team, let them have some opportunities in the European games, slowly we could have the finished article. So I would like to see Ben Cottrell, Miguel Aziz, and Muller feature at some point. We are allowed 5 subs, so it'll be good to sort of see the youth come out. The plan for me would be go out there, first half, absolutely destroy them, 2-3-0, and then towards the second half, when we're quite comfortable with position, bring on the youth, build up their confidence, and let's get the 3 points in the bag. So in terms of my score prediction, I'm going to go with a 3-0 win to us. I'm quite confident 3-0. And I can see Nicolas Pepe slowly doing something good to redeem himself slightly. So that's my predictions. Please like, subscribe, and if you could let me know what your lineup would be and what your predicted scores would be. Thank you so much.